and welcome to Baking with Chickens, the show about conquering the fear of baking. I'm Christina, and this episode is all about conquering meringues. I have failed meringues so many times.
It's not whipping anymore.
Damn. I don't even know how to save this.
Failed f***ing meringue.
Colossal fail.
Today's a bad day.
Stick around to the very end. I'm going to do a giveaway of a bag of cookies. These lemon crinkle cookies are everyone's favorite. These are absolutely amazing. Watch to the end and I will tell you how you can get your hands on and win a bag of cookies. You might see I look a little different today. I'm a little more dressed up because Mama Wong made the recommendation that I dress up a little bit nicer, even though this makes no sense because I'm gonna go up to the chickens and they're probably gonna poop on my dress. I do it for you. Without further ado, meringue. There are 3 different types of meringues: French meringue, Italian meringue, and Swiss meringue. French meringue, which is your traditional meringue that you might be used to, it is whipped egg whites and then you throw in sugar until it mixes in. That's the type that you typically see for any baked meringues like a Pavlova, meringue cookies, the type of meringue that you fold into different pies and cakes. An Italian meringue is where you cook it down into a hot syrup and then pour that hot boiling syrup into the egg whites as you're whipping it. Italian, my least favorite. Huge mess, and I got shit in my hair. Totally fail every time, but a lot of bakers love Italian style meringue because it is the most stable of all the meringues and it makes the best macarons. And a Swiss meringue is when you cook the sugar and the egg whites together over a hot pan of water and it melts before you start whipping it into your nice fluffy meringue. Swiss meringue is the type that you get that really smooth, silky, marshmallowy texture. That's my favorite, and that's the one, if you stick around, I'm gonna show you how to make Swiss meringue and Swiss meringue buttercream. Quick side note, because I see this all of the time, meringue, spelled with an I, not merengue, spelled with an E, and I also see this too. A macaron is a meringue type baked cookie with almond flour. A macaroon is made with coconuts. So macaron, 1 O, macaroon, 2 O's, meringue with an I, and merengue is a dance with an E. Don't forget, hit subscribe on this video, and if you liked it, tap a like and drop a comment. This is Lady Olgaberry, and she's gonna join me for those top 10 tips for how to conquer meringue. First one is you want to use room temperature eggs. Room temperature eggs are going to give you a better whip and fluff. I'm lucky because of my fresh chicken eggs, my eggs sit out at room temp, so I never have to take them out of the refrigerator to bring them up to room temp. So if you're doing a French style meringue, always use super fine sugar, also known as castor sugar or baking sugar. That super fine baker sugar is going to blend in and melt a lot easier into those egg whites to make a nice soft silky meringue. Not powdered sugar, because powdered sugar has cornstarch in it. If you want to cut back on sweetness, you can't really cut down on the sugar because the sugar is kind of like the glue that holds all of those egg white bubbles and protein structures together. But you can use a little bit of cornstarch instead, because the cornstarch will help hold those bonds together as a slight substitution for that sugar. This one's really important. So when you get your bowl to whip your egg whites and your meringue, a glass bowl, metal bowl, or even a copper bowl is gonna be your best bet. And you wanna avoid getting any fats that are in those bowls. So no egg yolks whatsoever. Any residue oils that might be left over on those bowls can absolutely affect the quality of your meringue. I avoid using plastic bowls because plastic bowls can kind of retain some of those residual oils. Even using a little bit of lemon juice or vinegar to wipe out the inside of your bowl to get out any of those oils is great. To separate your egg whites and how to crack an egg, make sure you're cracking them flat on a surface and not on the edge of the bowl to avoid getting those shells getting stuck inside your egg and possibly piercing your egg yolk. So you want to make sure that you are not getting any egg yolks whatsoever into your egg whites before you whip them. And if you're using your hands also have residual oils as well that might also affect the quality of your meringue. How to avoid weeping. This is something that has happened to me pretty frequently when I use meringues. So meringues weep because either the sugar that you put in, if you're doing an Italian style, wasn't up to the right temp, or the sugar didn't melt properly if you're doing a French style and it wasn't incorporated all of the way. And so after it bakes, it kind of starts weeping that sugary liquid. If you've overbeaten your meringues and you went past stiff peaks,
I don't even know how to save this.
you can fix it. All you have to do is add in 1 egg white and it'll kind of bring it all back to liquid, re-whip it, and it should whip up just fine again. So meringue is best eaten right after baking. If you're not going to eat it right away, make sure you store it in an airtight container. Humidity will absolutely affect your meringue because that moisture in the air is going to get absorbed by that meringue crusty bakey stuff. Cream of tartar is incredibly important, and that's something you don't want to skip because it acts like this bonding agent and it helps keep your peaks nice and stiff. If you don't have cream of tartar, lemon juice or vinegar would be a really good substitution, or any acid. Yes. Egg white alternatives. If you don't have egg whites or you'd like to try a vegan alternative, Aquafaba, or just that water from a can of chickpeas, is an excellent substitution and it makes really, really good meringue.
It's bean water. It's like magic. How does it do this?
So you would just treat it exactly the same way. You can do it a French, Italian, or Swiss style. And it's not just chickpea water. You could also use the black bean water for any chocolate recipes. And it doesn't really taste like beans. It takes a little bit longer to whip in all of the air, but it tastes and it works just the same. I know, then we wouldn't need you, but you don't lay eggs anyway, so who cares? Nerd out with me for a second, and I'm gonna go into the chemistry of meringue and how it all works. Egg whites are really cool. They are basically that white part when you crack the egg. It's kind of like viscous and weird and slimy, but it's made of 90% water and 10% protein. When you whip egg whites, it gets like white and fluffy. It's kind of magical. It takes these proteins, which are different amino acids within the egg, whips it up and gets air between all of the molecules. And then when you add sugar and your cream of tartar, that's going to act like a stabilizer, like a glue that holds all of those bubbles suspended together. And then when you bake it and you take all of that 90% of water out, what you're left with is the protein structure of your egg and your sugar bonded to it, and that turns into your meringue cookies.
Bok science, bitches.
Now I'm going to show you how to make that amazing, soft, silky, marshmallowy Swiss meringue. And stay tuned. After that, I'm going to show you how to turn that Swiss meringue into a Swiss Meringue Buttercream Frosting. The best frosting for everything. Let's make some meringue. We're gonna use those 4 egg whites, combine them with the sugar and salt and cream of tartar. So now that these are mixed in the bowl, we need to incorporate the sugar, and I'm gonna melt them over my pot over on the stove. I'm gonna put my mixer over a pot of boiling water, and then I'm lazy, so I'm just gonna use the whisk that I'm gonna use for the KitchenAid. We're gonna whisk the sugar and the egg whites together. Melting the sugar into the egg whites so that it's nice and smooth and we don't have any grainy, sugary bits. And you just whisk it as long as the sugar isn't grainy. So you just kind of feel a little bit, and if you could feel the grain, then keep going for a little bit longer. That's pretty good, and I'm calling done and taking it back to my KitchenAid. So my sugar is nicely melted in. I'm gonna put this back into the KitchenAid. So I take the time to do this Swiss meringue because I really like the texture a lot more. It gives you that nice, soft, toasty marshmallow texture instead of that like weird powdered sugar taste. Totally worth it, in my opinion. Right, this is looking so good. So I whipped meringue into stiff peaks. Check it out, nice stiff peaks here. So that when I pipe it, it's gonna stay up and stand nicely. I didn't put any flavoring in this. You could add vanilla or anything you like, but I just left it simple. Egg whites, sugar, salt, cream of tartar. So here is this beautiful whippy meringue. I'm gonna fill my piping bag with this, because we're gonna pipe the pie a little bit later. Any piping bag will do. If you don't have one, you can fill like a Ziploc bag and just cut off the end. You don't have to get fancy like I do. You can just kind of take the whole cloud and just throw it on top of the pie. I'm gonna show you how to pipe that meringue. Ready for the torching. 1, 2, 3. Fire! There you go. Go like this. Check it out. Ta-da! Now that you've mastered Swiss meringue, I'm gonna show you how to turn that Swiss meringue into buttercream. Bok bok bake.
This is the butter portion of the buttercream, and all of this butter is going in. So we're gonna add about a tablespoon at a time. This is soft butter. You don't want it too soft because then you've got soft, runny buttercream. What we want is where you can indent your finger in it, but it's not runny. If you just watched me throw in all that butter and you're thinking, holy shit, that is a heart attack waiting to happen, that's buttercream, folks. It's not called buttercream for no reason. So this is a good time to add in whatever flavorings that we want. So I'm gonna do lemon vanilla, a little bit of this lemon. This is my vanilla extract. So it's a little soft. I'm gonna put it in the fridge for a few minutes to stiffen before I add the color and pipe.
Thank you so much for watching to the very end of this meringue episode of Baking with Chickens. As a thank you, I'm gonna do something a little cool. For the first 50 comments, I'm gonna send one person out of those 50 comments a bag of lemon crinkle cookies. This is the best cookie ever and the most popular episode. Drop in those comments. I'll pick one person at random from the first 50. Ready? Go.